I'm here. All right, so here we are back in the, in the 19th of June. So we started this journey with a king and queen in Leo there and Lilith on the other side. And so, Venus was, in her beautiful regalia. We had the sun in Gemini there. So, people were talking. Mercury was in its own sign. So Mercury's in its own sign now. So Mercury was quite strong there, and communication might have been fabulous at that time. You put yourself in the situation. I don't know. All right. So, and as we moved forward, the first aspect that we got was Venus trine Chiron. All right, so that was the 29th. All right, so let's have a look on this one. All right, so we had Venus conjunct Mars, we had Venus square Uranus, and Venus trine Chiron opposition Hygieia conjunct Lilith. All right, so it was like she had the little, the devil on her shoulder, suggesting to her that things could be better, things can change, So I mean, looking at this, she was understanding the things that she had gone through in her life. The trine to Chiron there in Aries was giving her an understanding that we've been through this much so far. Chiron in Aries is like, you are the individual that you are now because of what you've been through. Now, the square to Uranus there is, we can absolutely build upon these things. At first, it was, it was easy to, I'm seeing the square now as, kicking, oh my God, when you've kicked your shin on something, I don't know, you kick the lounge or something, some sort of hard edge, so you come up against a situation that's made you stop and go, hang on a minute, this doesn't feel right. Taurus is all about the senses and how we feel and luxury. And there was obviously something wrong. There was obviously something saying, Venus was opposing that Hygieia. What in our world is going against our well-being? Why do we feel like our mental health is being challenged at this time? All right. So, so what did I say? The 29th. All right. So that was when, oh, look at that. All right. So we had Venus trine Chiron at that time. We had the sun trine Saturn. So in the sky, maybe we were feeling like we were, I mean, this is positive, but was there a feeling of overwhelm where you were so focused on others? All right, sun in Cancer there, Mercury in Cancer, so focused on thinking about other people that we forgot, or you forgot who you were as a person. All right, so I mean, this day looks awesome. We had this moon in Scorpio making us go deep into our emotional state. Yeah, everything's too family orientated, but that we just got to the point where enough was enough. So moving forward, the next big one we had was on the 3rd of July. Okay, so not long after that, we had, the square to Uranus starting to form. Now, look, let's have a look at this and give you the other people's words, not just my own. All right, so an exciting and creative person suddenly comes into light, creating a little bit of tension. Unpredictable paths, go with the flow, don't resist the current. Someone close to you may be throwing a spanner into the works. It may be a blessing in disguise. Relationships are likely to be unstable, erratic, and this could be exciting or upsetting. Either way, you are likely to make swift changes to ensure more positive connections with those close to you, as well as anything or anyone connected with your finances. Now, we've been talking about our financial state a lot at the moment, but because we're, Mars and Venus here are still in Leo, so they're still residing in the same house, but Venus is getting dissatisfied. Okay. So, well, it's not that she's getting dissatisfied, but that shadow period allowed her, even though she was in somewhere where that was supposed to be her kingdom or her queendom, she was still starting to doubt what was happening around her, right? Like I said, her mental health and her well-being were getting shone upon. With Hygeia retrograde, it was the internal inkling that was starting to happen. All right. So, I will keep moving. Okay, what was the next big one? All right. So, now on at this point, this was actually when Mars and Venus were at their closest point as well. So now, right this minute, I feel like there was sexual tension. And this might have been that time that I wrote that one about the sexual tension. Maybe that was when the Scorpio moon was. Anyway, from what I remember, that was all about, when you first meet someone and you have that magnetic attraction. And as time goes on and, the urge to procreate dissipates a little bit, and what you end up with is the person that is not just there to have you desire them, or they don't continue to try and impress you, and you end up with the snoring fart bag next to you, and in this case you're like, is this actually really what I want? So from here on, they've reached their closest point and Venus starts to move away again. So this is, where all the it's not the juicy stuff, but this is where we really started to question. So after this, Venus starts moving away from Mars. We're still in Cancer season, so we're still concerned with everyone else, and internally we're like, oh, am I getting nurtured enough? Are all my needs being met? Is somebody out there fighting for me? The Cancer, the crab, they're willing to fight for everyone else. They're all hard on the outside, but that soft underbelly, am I getting all of my needs met? At this time, we're like, no. Okay. So now I am going. So that closest point was also oh no, sorry, I doubled that one up. So we had the third, the Venus square Uranus, and the fifth, the Venus opposition Hygeia was exact. So those two things. I'm looking at my life and it's not doing it for me. All right. So now when we move forward, we go on to around the 10th when Mars moves into Virgo. All right. So Mars is now not being a king. He's now being a pain in the ass. All right. So Venus doesn't like being in Virgo unless she is the nature witch. Venus in Virgo, there's always beneficial things. But Venus in Leo looking at Mars in Virgo going, what a freaking pain in the ass. So this might have been the time when, and look at this, Lilith's in there, whispering in their ears, right in their well, not in between, not conjunct the sun, but Lilith is talking to Mercury at that time, and she's just like, the things that were unsaid were starting to get louder and louder. Maybe the dissatisfaction's growing. From here, it's just all starting to rev up. All right. I'm going to go so the mid-June mark was more when we were looking at, that's when we got into that frivolous spending. So was it like the comfort food? All right, so that we've got all that Taurus stuff. Did we start indulging or overindulging in things to either shove down the emotions or to mask the feelings, so we're not actually paying attention to our senses? Escapist tendencies in a different way. Okay. All right, let's go forward. I'm going to have a look at this one. Okay, so yeah, this was that frivolous spending time. Just buying dumb shit. Starting to really, okay, so when did she go retrograde? She went retrograde on the 23rd. Okay. Okay, so she went retrograde in Leo at 28 degrees, and look at that Lilith there. Love it. I love it. Lilith is there just going, oh my God, that pain in the ass over there is not treating you like the queen that you deserve to be. All right, so this is a bit of a Cersei moment. you know, where she starts killing off her enemies and family because, you know, she wants to be in power. Or maybe she's killing them off in her mind, but, you know, the dissatisfaction is loud. Now's the time we're starting to work on things. All right, so we've gone within, and the sun moving out of Cancer is like, fuck them, I don't want to do it anymore. It's all about me. All right, so this is where it really, really started to get chunky. All right, so what from these times, you know, like you guys are thinking about your own timeline now. Where did you see the biggest changes occurring? You know, when were the decisions being made by you that things needed to change? Were you in alignment with all the shifts and changes that Venus went through? Or, you know, was it more of a slow burn type thing? Because, you know, now we're going to be going over, no, it's more, actually, sorry, I'll take that back. It's more closer to the end that we're going to be going back over these points again. All right, so we did have an opposition to Saturn, but it didn't last very long. Yeah, it was only a couple of days where we were like, oh, authority. So the challenge of authority, and was it just in your mind? Was that a breaking point, you know, where you know, we finally went within, and then there was a challenge and you were like, enough's enough. All right, so this is like the 20th of July to the 25th. So that was really like a strong 5-day window there, guys. So again, I hope you guys, I hope you guys at the beginning did have a diary or a journal where you were jotting down things. And it was mainly for this point where you could see where things were starting to shift and change. All right, so another square to Uranus forming the 9th of August. Am I June, July? Oh, yeah, June, July, August. All right. You know, the opposition to Hydrea, that's just been such a long story throughout the whole thing. I hope that the story that played out and that is still playing out, I hope you have had shifts and change in your health. You know, I hope maybe you have examined your diet and exercise routine. You know, even if it is as simple as drinking more water, your well-being. I hope that it is front and center in your mind so much more clearly now, because, you know, again, because I think that's important. All right. So where are we? 1st of August. Okay, I'll go through to the 9th. All right, so the 9th of August. Then, all right, so we had that second square to Uranus. All right, so look at that. That's beautiful there. Now, Jupiter in Taurus is giving us that that dawning realization. All right, so what I'm feeling right now is, okay, what I feel right now is, okay, I'm standing at a sink and I can see or hear someone off to the side come out of a bedroom spouting the same shit that they say every freaking time. This isn't Mick, by the way. But I just feel like that realization of, oh, am I going to do this for the rest of my life? So I don't know if that is for someone or if that is just the analogy that's coming through. Did you get to that point where you're like, enough's enough, I just can't do it anymore. I just cannot do this anymore. I have to change. All right. You know, and this Saturn here too. Oh, look at this. Lilith in Leo in conjunct Saturn in Pisces. This is that, you know, let's change the narrative. Let's look at that subconscious and rebuild the story from the ground up. Let's unleash the hidden and suppressed parts of ourselves so that we can be the leaders, and the and the ruling class, the right leader that we should be for ourselves and our families, because if you are in this situation and you have children, you want to be the best role model that you can. And if you're being suppressed and inauthentic, then, resentment, it's just going to come up. Okay, so now, so the 13th, we had that beautiful Kazemi. All right, so this was the midpoint. All right, so this was the moment when Venus was looking at the experience. Venus in the heart of the sun. Kazemi is the heart of the matter. All right, so I know that I was telling you guys on that Sunday night, I was I was in Sydney with the boys, and Ben, who is a Taurus, okay, so ruled by Venus, was in tears. And he was like, I know I do these things. I know, because Daniel will talk on the phone all the time to us. Ben won't talk so much. He's much more reserved. He's got the Cancer rising, he's got the Virgo moon, and he just had this massive realization where he was like, I can see the things that I'm doing and I don't mean it. But now I know that I need to address these things. And from here on, I'm going to make the effort. Now, I hope that you guys had that same or a similar type of experience, or, even if it wasn't at that time, you now see what the issue was and you have addressed it and you are moving on from it. But, this is just the retrospective. Everything's retrograde. So we are going to, we are having that look back. All right, so we're getting closer and closer to our current experience. So on the 15th of August, we had that second Venus trine Chiron, where 15th of August, yeah, was that it? Yes, second Venus trine Chiron. What did you do about it? We've got that beautiful Lilith there in between Venus and the sun. Unleashing that suppressed part of ourselves and being brutally honest with ourselves about what the fuck a problem is and why do we worry so much about other people's opinions. Why do we worry about society's standards? That Taurus, Uranus in Taurus. Let's change the social narrative. Today I saw a thing about people taking back the word fat. All right, body positivity. They're like, hot fat bitch, but they're not saying it in a negative way. They're like, what other word did they take back? Someone else was taking back, was it slut shaming, or I don't know. Just for the moment, the fat one is the one that I'm going to talk about, because Jupiter in Taurus is a very weighty place. At the beginning of this, I was saying, don't try and lose weight while Jupiter's in Taurus, because it's just not going to work. You can put in all the effort you want, but the effort's going to have to come from really controlling and understanding your diet. You're going to hold extra weight. Anyway, it's just interesting that, I saw that today, that people are like, we are normal women, stop putting society's standards on us. If you're healthy, active, and you look after yourself, what does it matter what weight you are? Look at people like Lizzo and, oh my God, what's that other one? She's an amazing rocker. Can't think of her name. She's freaking amazing. She's got tattoos and she's Beth something or other. Anyway, I'm not going to look at the chat because I'm not going to. Anyway, she's amazing too. So this body positivity movement is so much about Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus as well. So did you get to that point, where you were just like, I just don't care. I'm just going to do me. I'm going to be me. I'm going to be real and authentic. And if you don't like it, off you go, off with their heads, be the Queen of Hearts in Alice in Wonderland and just be like, you don't exist in my world. All right. So moving forward, I mean, oh my God, it's almost September. What day is it today? The 28th. Oh, full on. All right. So let's just go to now. Okay. So now we currently have, all right, so thank God Mars is out of Virgo. We've finished with that inner critic being a biatch. but now we've still got Mercury retrograde in Virgo. All right, so how can we heal the wounds with natural, or no, how can we realign our thoughts with how can we critique our thoughts and adjust things, so that we've got a more healthy outlook. All right, so Virgo doesn't have to be, all critical. It can be really focused on having a healthy outlook. So, like I was saying earlier, next Monday, Venus is going to go direct. She's widely conjunct Hygieia, so we're still got our mental health and well-being in the spotlight right this minute. Look, we are transforming our emotions. We are looking at our foundations. We are looking at our lives as a business structure. Let's restructure, corporate takeover. You are choosing to do it differently. Streamline, cut out the shit, rewrite your policies and procedures, do something different. And then when we've still got this Lilith here in the ear of the sun going, come on, be authentic, say the words that you want to say, don't hide any parts of yourself. You are, the original story of Lilith, where she came from, Lilith and Adam were created, and Lilith was like, I am not going to be subservient to Adam. And then in the story, God took Adam's rib and made Eve out of Adam. Total shit. I'd so much rather be Lilith any day. So yeah, now we are just, let's go back over the things that we have been doing to ourselves as well. We've already been here. How can we make it healthier? Okay, so whether that is, like I said, examining your thoughts so you can readjust them into a much more positive, healthier outlook, then these are the things that we are transforming. Okay, so, and like I said, back to Thursday, where we can have some pretty serious spiritual understandings, and allow us to rebuild our current belief system, Pisces, straight into that, moon Neptune. So there's a lot of spiritual potential this week. Again, it takes you not shying away from it, though. You actually have to do the hard work and be very vigilant with the stories that you're telling yourself. So, and here we go. Oh, is she going to go backwards? No, okay. So she's gone. She's going backwards and forwards a lot there. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so on Thursday, not only do we have the full moon, but we've got Lilith moving back into Leo. Yay! She's going to be. I'm getting the Queen's main advisor, the Queen's troublemaker. I love it. I love it. Okay, so there is my retrospective look to our current experience, and I hope that you were able to pinpoint some of the decisions that you have made in this last 11 weeks to, some of the transits that we've had and highlighted. So I am now going to stop the share and stop